Good morning, 8th grade. Today, Wednesday, we are going to continue our work concerning verbals and their diagramming. Yesterday, Tuesday, we went through some items concerning gerunds, and that's where we pick it up this morning. We are on the page which is entitled Diagramming Gerunds, Practice Activity, down number 7 and number 8. Again, the suggestions. Number 1. Identify what words are going to be your subject, any helping verbs, prepositional phrases, and then, of course, your modifiers. In this case, you have an adverb, a negative, not. In sentence number 8, you have a gerund phrase for the noun, raising the fees. The verb is decreased, a direct object, attendance, and a prepositional phrase, at the park. So when you diagram your sentences, you're all set to go because you know you're going to have 3 sections. You're going to have your subject and you're going to have your verb, and then if there is one, like in number 8, you're going to have your direct object. And so as I continue to diagram, my subject is sleeping. Helping verb, and my verb is allowed. The adverb is not. Again, this doesn't apply. We don't have one in this particular sentence, but if we did, that would be the 3rd slot. We'll use that for number 8. And then I have a prepositional phrase that says at parties, slumber parties. Gerund subject, helping verb is allowed, adverb not, prepositional phrase. The only difference with our next number is that when we diagram this particular sentence, I have an object of my gerund raising. Raising what? Fees. The fees. My verb is decreased. In this particular sentence, I do have a direct object. What was decreased? Attendance was decreased. Was it decreased how, when, or where? Or what kind of attendance? What kind of attendance? At the park. So I see in both of my sentences, I have been assisted by my pre-labeling before I do my actual diagram. This comes in handy especially when you have prepositional phrases. That comes in handy when you have gerund phrases or another verbal phrase, and you notice then between this and the prepositional phrase, you have over half of the words in the sentence that can automatically be taken out. We've talked about participles, which act as adjectives. We've talked about gerunds that act as nouns. And then that brings us into our last activity, that of infinitives. And we turn to the page, which is diagramming infinitives, practice activity, with the swimmer here in the upper right-hand corner. I can turn my attention to number 8, which has been diagrammed for me as an example. Subject, adverb, verb, and then I recognize to plus a verb, which happens to be an infinitive. Ryan, subject, learned, verb, what? To dive. In this particular instance, this serves as a direct object, and then my adverb, finally. So as I take a look at my sentences, again, labeling them is going to assist me in determining where that has to go. Group has, remember, has, have, had, those are ownership, those are verbs. And then to finish a mural, how do I know when to stop? Next part of speech or the end of the sentence. So I'm ready to diagram. Group has, and then I have my infinitive, direct object, infinitive to finish, and then this noun acts as its own separate object to finish a mural. Again, with these infinitive sentences, we want to be taking a close look to determine what part of speech is my infinitive serving as. Let's take another example. Let's go right up to number 6. My family hopes to fly to Orlando. Subject, verb, pronoun adjective. Now, class, in this particular case, I notice that inside of my infinitive phrase, which begins with to fly, I have a prepositional phrase. In this example, in number 7, I had an infinitive and it had an object, and in this case I don't have that, but what I'm going to diagram is I'm going to put a prepositional phrase underneath my infinitive. Subject, family, verb, hopes, infinitive, to fly. To Orlando. Now, this is a prepositional phrase. This is my direct object infinitive phrase. Subject, verb, infinitive, direct object, and the prepositional phrase which describes to fly. Mrs. Jackson, number 5, verb, asked. To hear from the yearbook staff. As I noticed, this was my entire phrase. That was my entire phrase. This was simply the infinitive, to dive. And in sentence number 5, to hear from the yearbook staff. This, again, is like sentence number 6, where I had an infinitive followed by a prepositional phrase. So my subject is going to be Mrs. Jackson. My verb is asked, and then I have my direct object, to here. Prepositional phrase will go underneath it. From what? Staff. What kind of staff? The and yearbook. Most frequently, I'm going to be finding that my infinitives or phrases are going to be serving as subjects or direct objects. I'm noticing the sentences on this page are falling under the category of direct objects. We'll take one additional item. Subject, verb, I'm confused. I don't know what to do here. Has ways. Has ways. What is this going to serve as? Is this going to be a verb? Is ways a verb, or is that a thing? Jennifer has ways. This is a direct object. Jennifer has ways. Many ways. Now, what am I going to do with this? Ways. What are my only options to fix her hair? We got cut off there. Jennifer has ways. This is a direct object. We have to remember that infinitives can be anything. And so, because I've identified this as a direct object, this is already an adjective. This is going to describe ways. What kind of ways? To fix. To fix. This is an infinitive. To fix. And how do I know that that's an infinitive? Because this is a to plus a verb. To fix what? Hair. And then her hair. The most common examples are subjects and direct objects. However, my infinitives can be anything. And so I need to be able to pick out my other parts of the sentence. And that really tells me, because here I already have a subject, verb, direct object, so there's nothing else that it can be. It follows a noun, so like many, it describes ways, what kind of ways to fix hair. What I'd like for you to do is to continue with numbers 2 and 3 and 4 on the diagramming infinitives practice activity. Again, this is my assignment for today, Wednesday, which is 4/28. If there are any questions concerning this, please contact me by way of GoGuardian. Thanks. Have a great day.